Hello, this is Thomas, together with a lots of people that are part of the Website One developer team. I have some pretty Renee, Brian, and Amy here, and Dima just joined us. Welcome, Dima. Let's go to screen share and let's kick this meeting and start talking about the stuff that we all love, the Website One project. Brian, what's on the agenda today?
I'm not sure. I just got back, so forgive me if I'm still out of sync.
Okay.
Hmm.
Okay, let's do a quick scrum kind of thing about our latest work on Website One. Okay, so Sampriti, you want to start? What have you done for a Website One project lately?
Yeah, just I fixed a few two bugs and finished the Slack invite feature. It's pending the pull request queue. That's it.
Okay. And your plans?
Plans, I mean, I've finished all my current stories, so I plan on taking up some more stories.
And what's your availability now in the time ahead of the next upcoming week, let's say?
Yeah, I'm totally free. Uh, I'll have about 2 hours every day, so it shouldn't be a
Oh,
problem.
wonderful, wonderful. Okay, Amy, you want to go now?
Sure. So since last time I wrote to Slack and I said, isn't there a way we could find out when somebody joins Slack and send them a welcome message? And he wrote back and he said, no, there's not really, but there is this API. You could monitor it, and then you could use information from monitoring it to send people emails. I went to their method browser and I poked around. I didn't see any way of immediately putting that into action. So this means that if I write the welcome email, there isn't going to be a method of sending it. So I added what I learned, and I'm thinking I'll just put this story back into the icebox.
Okay. Sampriti just worked on this automatic invite to Slack, and he submitted a pull request an hour ago, I think.
Okay.
So, Sampriti, you want to tell us a little bit about how you did it, or should we do the Scrum first, and you can tell us a little bit about that later? Yeah.
Yeah, I think the Scrum should be done first.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so Amy, apart from that, what are your plans for Website One project, and how available are you in the days ahead?
I have a couple of hours every day.
Okay. So let's find you a story to work on. Okay, we'll do that today. Renee.
Hello. Well, I just poked around and made some changes to the newsletter ticket, which we talked about during, don't know, I think two scrums or something. And I finished that, and right now I'm just, let's say, I banned some kind of history to create a pull request by rebasing.
Okay. Oh, you're in that spot. I understand.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yes, we can discuss rebasing later on during this meeting. Rebasing. Yes. That's an ongoing discussion. It's a very popular topic. So what's your availability for Website One in the next upcoming week?
Probably by the next week, by starting next Monday. You're talking about?
Well, actually, from tomorrow into the next dev meeting. That is next Tuesday. So.
I'm in Paris during the weekend, doing learning some Golang stuff, and so I don't know. I probably have no time left to be available for Website One.
Okay, but tomorrow and Thursday is and Friday you can. works on?
No. By Thursday, I'm gone.
Oh, okay.
And I come back on Monday.
Okay. All right.
Mm.
Okay, I understand. Cool. Who's next? Dima, but tell us a little bit about what you've been up to lately and what you want to do.
Yeah, hello everybody. I was busy before. Just now I have some time. So now I'm looking some story or some walk to do.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
How much time do you think you have?
Around maybe couple hours every day.
All right. Okay. Well, we find you a story.
Okay.
No problems. Cool. Nice to have you with us again. It's been a long time, Dima. Are you back in Russia or are you still in Korea?
No, I back to Russia.
Okay.
Now I'm in Russia.
Cool. All right. And Paul.
Hello.
How you doing, Paul?
Good. I did a little bit of stuff on local support with Marion and Michael, and we've been doing stuff later in the day. And it seems like most of the other folks, besides the American continent, are asleep at that time or offline.
Okay.
Cool. And then I had a little bit of fun playing around with their setup of database cleaner. Trying to test what how I expected it to work versus how it was really working.
I was reading someplace that somebody said that if you remove database cleaner, you can get your tests to run faster.
It depends. Yeah, I mean, it could be that this is John especially mentioned that cut their time by a huge amount. I think that's probably doing the integration specs in in our spec, not in Cucumber, so that they had a bigger and more extensive test suite to run in the first place. And they may have been doing something wrong previously that post fixed. So it's hard to know exactly without more information, but I tried doing that to local support, and it only cut like 1 second off of the 21 seconds it took anyway. So for us, it didn't help that much.
Okay. So what can I do to make you grab a few stories in website 1? It's been a long time.
Yeah, I mean I'm busy this week, but I'm hopefully going to be back available after that.
All right. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Okie dokie. Nice to have you with us. Anyways.
Yeah, nice to be here.
Okay, so So it's Brian. It's you, right?
I guess it's me.
Yeah, you're the last man standing.
No, that's still you.
Oh yeah. Oh well. Okay. Yeah.
Yourself. Yeah. Well, me, what I plan to do and what I've been doing is, as usual, just looking at pull requests. And hopefully we'll get to talk about some interesting topics today in the dev meeting.
Cool.
As for my time, just a bit of warning. This weekend and Monday and Tuesday I won't be available, so you're gonna have to cover for me, Thomas. During that period. Yeah.
We can try to get as many things out of the way before the weekend. Then we can, whatever is produced over the weekend, perhaps we could wait unless it's something very, very urgent. We can wait until you come back, I guess.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, let's try to merge as much stuff as possible. Yes, well, it's me then. I'm here. I'm usually here. So I've been working together with Sasha and Renee and on website 1. Related issues. I started a new feature today that has to do with the dashboard and some statistics. Me and Sampriti and Sasha created a lo-fi for that. So we are thinking about incorporating a map with showcasing where our users was coming from, and then just showing how many pair programming hours and Scrum meeting hours we've had over the last month or something. You know, this is just a lo-fi of this you're seeing on the screen right now. So we started this work today. And apart from that, I've been doing a lot of pair programming. You know, listening to Rene, he was telling me about his web-based mailer, and I've been working with Sasha on this user status pull request that we have still pending. And I'm available most of the days, but a little, you know, a few hours here and there, basically. It's hard to commit to a specific time, but I'm usually around, and I'm also very easy to get hold of over Slack. I have that on my iPad and on my iPhone, so I'm usually able to answer any questions you guys might have. So that should be it, I think, from me. Any questions? No questions. Okay. So I would like us to talk a little bit. Well, we have two major issues actually, and first of all, before I forget, I would like us to vote on a story because it's so easy that we forget to do that. And I know that Christopher, who can't be with us today, he wants us to vote on a story, to estimate a story, and also Sam said it's kind of prioritized. So project. We have this project. Project index page redesign. Christopher made a UX proposal that I'm going to pull up on the screen now, hopefully. Here it is. Let's see. What's up? Yes, this is the proposal to redesign the project's index page, and project's index page, of course, being this today. We have this sidebar, and we have a list of projects that are paginated, and what he wants to create is a little more. Let's go. What? How could this there? No. Oh, there it is. Okay. Yes. So he wants us to create this this grid of images, you know, and a grid of projects with images with commit count number on top, and you know, basically a little more appealing and a little more action-filled page, you know, basically. And he kind of described it that the primary design goals are to support user task objectives, to browse to find any project, create a new project, and go to any of my own projects that I have joined as a HL Ventures member. And, well, you can review this document yourself, but the question here is, I think we should take the time and split this up into several stories, and I think this is quite important. So if we could take a moment and discuss this document and see what we can see as the major obstacles to get this, you know, done the way our architecture is set up today. Any thoughts?
Well, have you guys decided what you want to do with the images?
We were saying that no to uploads, but rather point to a URL someplace.
Okay. Right.
It's the most reasonable thing to do.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And for the other guys, so you understand what me and Brian are talking about. On Heroku we cannot upload files because the file system on Heroku doesn't allow that. So in order for project to have like a cover image or something, we would be forced to set up a S3 instance on Amazon Web Services or use Dropbox or any other cloud storage solution. But that could potentially expose us to financial, to the costs, and we don't want that. So it's much easier for us to just point to another through an image on the internet using a URL and use that as a cover image. It's also a much simpler solution.
We could also store images in the database, but I think the URL option is better. But like I mean, on most photo sharing services, if the photo remains inactive for a certain amount of time, it gets deleted. So we'll need to take care of that as well.
True. I think we end up using Dropbox anyway, but our own accounts, basically. Just use a sharing link for that. That's probably the best thing. There are some other pitfalls here because we need to be able to crop those images or store images in the exact dimensions that we want to display them in. At least proportions. So, but that's.
I haven't. I don't know if it fits right in here or if it's better suited at the Agile Ventures community project. But what I was thinking about during the last days is why not work together with other similar projects who possibly could afford to spend some storage space for images like.
No, absolutely. It's not a bad idea at all.
One thing, like Ostra is using S3 to store their documents and files, but I doubt whether it would be okay for us to store our.
I would say no because the principal organization because Ostra is another non-profit. That's one thing, and the other thing is that the information they are storing, the database is quite sensitive once they are in production. So I wouldn't say that. I would say that let's keep that totally separated. I don't know how much they're paying. I don't think there's so much cost involved. I don't think it's
very little. We calculated about I think 20 cents every month or something.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, but we need to run a crowdfunding campaign or something. We don't have any funds on our own. So until we have that, we need to find other solutions that doesn't expose us to any costs. But anyway, if we move on, I'm seeing quite a few potential stories. I would say that the search functionality should be breaking out to a separate feature. And there is this git commit count on every project. We don't have that yet, I think, or do we?
Whichever projects have a GitHub URL, we have a commit count for that.
Okay. Yes. So apart from the search and the sorting, perhaps. Or could this fit in one single feature? I don't know.
I keep them as two separate features. And also the images. I think the image is something we don't have yet. That could be a separate story.
Okay.
And then obviously the layout itself, getting that into the tree column thing, is another story.
Okay. So add cover image to project. That would be a story, right?
Yep, that sounds right.
Is it okay, Brian, if you visit Pivotal Tracker and try to formulate a user story on that?
Okay, sure.
And then another story would be add search to project index page, I believe. And yes, so let's see, labels, new users, and projects. Users. And new users, projects, users. Now we have three stories, and they should be like, we should add the image, the cover image to project first. We should do the redesign after that, and then add search as a third story, right? If I'm not mistaken, that should be the sequence of these.
Yep, that sounds right.
Mm-hmm. As a visitor to the site, so that I get better understanding of the project, I would like to see a cover image for each project of the Agile Ventures site. Absolutely. And also, if you could write up for this, add search to project index page.
Right.
So, and these are the three stories I would like us to vote on today. And who hasn't been around for doing voting? Amy, have you been voted on or estimating stories before with us?
I have not been estimating stories with you guys. No.
No.
I don't think I know enough about the project to know how much work something has yet.
Okay. The thing is that it doesn't really matter if you know so much about this project. It's
Okay.
you can participate. Actually, no. To be honest, you can participate in the voting anyway. It's just a good learning experience for you and also for us, so we can explain that what needs to be done. So because we want to break out everything into those small stories, so you can treat this as a mini project in itself, a story like this.
Okay.
So given that we have a project model already designed, and what we want to do now is to add an attribute to the project and assigning a cover image to it. And this doesn't involve displaying that cover image, right, Ryan?
Oh, sorry?
We're not in this story. We're not going to display the cover image anywhere. We're just going to store it.
Well, it's going to be URL, so I think we can just put it on the show page for the time being.
Yeah. Okay. So
just have a placeholder somewhere.
So store.
Yep.
Store URL to image.
Mm-hmm.
And display on show page, right? So these are the two tasks that needs to be done within the story. Okay.
Add it to meta tags.
I don't know.
Should we have that as a separate story?
You mean the image, like the one that is displayed on Facebook or Twitter, or?
Oh, just yeah. I mean, it could be that, or it could be it could be Open Graph, or it could be Twitter.
Yeah,
But
but the image source meta tag, yeah. So it'll be project specific. I guess that could be a separate story.
I think it could be. It's a fairly simple thing to do. So I think it could be as a task in this story.
It could definitely be a separate story. But
I think it should be a separate story here. It'll be a small story, but it should be a separate story.
You want to write it up?
Yeah.
Paul or Brian or whoever.
Sure.
Will do. Are you okay? I'll let Paul do it.
Yeah. Okay. So, Brian, or whoever feels that they are competent enough, could somebody explain to Amy how we do voting?
Sure. So the process goes like we explain how much we roughly guess how much work is going to be put into working on this story. A good estimate would be, say, the number of days you would take to implement that story. If it's 1 day, I mean less than 1 day, probably 1.2 or 3 days, or you can count in hours if that's a better measure. So, say about 3 hours, maybe 1 point, say a bit more than that. I don't know. 6 hours could be 2 point, and anything more than that is 3 point, I guess. Does that sound about right?
Yeah. Easy story is 1 point. Medium hard story is 2 points, and a hard story, our complex story is 3 points.
Yeah. Okay. Just as simple as that.
Yeah.
And then we all, on the count of 3, we'll write down. We will type in the chat how many points we think a story is worth. So that can be 1, 2, or 3. And then we don't type it in yet. So we just sort of prepare the number, and then on the count of 3, we all simultaneously hit enter, and the votes come out unbiased and everything. Then depending on like how the points are split, we will discuss the result. Maybe go for another round of voting if people are still undecided. I think that's.
But usually we try to reach a consensus.
So we'll discuss why we think it's this much points, and the other person can defend himself, or
And also, if there are some deviations, somebody gives a 1 and another guy or girl says 3, it's just a good thing, because then we can talk about this, and it's a learning experience in itself, basically. So don't hesitate to participate in this voting. There's no right or wrong here. It's just a simple vote. Okay.
Okay.
Cool. So if you just type into your chat window.
Hold on. Which one are we talking about?
Well, we're talking about the first one, which is add cover image to project.
Okay.
So we're storing a URL to an image, and we're displaying it on the show page. Okay?
Okay. So that just involves adding a new field to the project table, a new column to the project table, adding that to the form, the edit form, and on the show page you just need to put an image somewhere that is pointing to that is using this URL.
Yeah.
Is that right? Yep.
Cool.
How does the image get there?
It is stored somewhere else on the cloud, and all we do is we store a URL pointing to that image.
Right. What I mean is that we, the developers, are going to put that in. We are not talking about putting in an upload feature.
Sorry? Can you repeat that?
What I meant is that we, the developers, are going to put that in. We don't rely on an upload feature or something from the user.
No, we don't rely.
Not the upload feature, but we rely on there being a field where the user actually types in that URL.
Okay.
that he wants to use as the project. If I create a project, for instance,
Mhm.
It's kind of like the
I want to
images
use.
You see a form.
Yeah.
When you create a project, you see a form, and this is
Yes.
something they can fill out just like they fill out the title. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
And then that is used to pull that image into our page for users show. Project show page.
Okay.
All right. Are we ready to vote on this?
yes.
May I intervene?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. This should go probably also in the vote, but of course, if you offer the option to give the possibility to write some URL somewhere inside, then I think I would also start thinking about security, especially if this URL points to somewhere in the internet.
Oh yeah, that's actually a very good point. Do you think we should have control over, or should we give control out to people for this URL? Because yeah, that's actually a good point. You can inject any kind of thing into the image, and that will raise security issues.
Okay.
Not to mention taste issues.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that too.
I don't think there will be security issues. It will be just taste issues. A simple JPG won't do much harm. It will be just displayed. And
Well,
essentially, the source, you can't do XSS with that. So
you could still inject something into the image, like it's possible. There are some exploits on that on certain browsers.
Okay.
yeah,
if
you're using Internet Explorer 1, then obviously.
Oh yeah, of course. But we have to be careful.
Yeah. So we can validate the URL, and we can also restrict the file extension to be a PNG or something. What else can we do?
I don't know. Should we restrict it to something like an Agile Ventures Dropbox account? Then we are absolutely certain that this file is safe.
Do we have the overhead for when somebody submits something, it remains provisional until somebody approves it?
We don't have that yet, and that could be potentially a feature in itself.
We could pre-render the image and then take the image and then clean it up that way.
How do you
like make a thumbnail out of it and then just store that instead of taking someone's
but then we could have an uploading feature instead of pointing to a URL.
Right. I mean, there might be some services out there that already clean images and check that if they're parental control safe.
Yes. But again, I one of the principles that we have, I just want to make that point. One of the principles we are living with here in Agile Ventures is that our users are mature, professional people that needs to be trusted. So you guys know that we do expose ourselves a lot for malicious content and in other ways, but so far we only had one instance of people misusing this trust, and that is this article that somebody published 2 weeks ago or something, right?
Oh yeah.
So but that was easy to spot, but I'm thinking that something like this, it could go unnoticed if there is some malicious thing being injected, because we won't know. Like, we will probably see some normal image, but there'll be something else that's pulled in. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? This can go by undetected for a long time before it becomes a real problem.
Yeah.
Which is why I think we need to have a slightly more tighter control over this.
Sure. I gotcha. So what can we say about this? I mean, we can validate where it comes from. We can do some URL restrictions. We can restrict the file format.
Yeah, what about like just doing Imgur only images? So only Imgur or a particular photo sharing site can be used. That way they are doing the validation for us. We don't really need to worry about anything.
That's one way to do it. Yeah.
Yep, I agree.
Do we have? Can we get a list of photo sharing services that actually does some sort of
Oh, that can be
validation?
part of the story,
Mm. So
as
get
long as there is some level of validation.
photo sharing services that do image validation. Okay. So these tasks that I've created now, is that enough for this story?
Yep, that looks okay.
Hmm?
Do we need to worry about any other parts of the application using these fields or using this record and being affected by these changes?
I don't think there'll be any far-reaching effects because we're introducing a new field rather than removing something that's already there.
Okay.
Is this an epic or part of an epic? Oh, new user projects users. Okay.
Yeah, it's about the bigger picture of the redesigning the project landing page. All right. So have we enough information to estimate the complexity of this? Cool. So if everybody opens their chat windows, type in the number 1, 2, or 3, and on my count of 3, we press enter. Okay? Everybody ready?
Okay.
All right. So 1, 2, 3, press enter. All right. We got almost consensus on 2. Amy said 3. You want an argument
Not really.
for this?
I was going to say 2, but then we started thinking how to make this, troll-proof. But since I was thinking 2 beforehand and everybody else has said 2, I'm totally happy to go down to 2.
Okay. Then we do that. The next one is, well, the next one would be the redesign of the index page, and so removing the current design and adding this where is that? There it is. Yes, adding this design to the project's index page. But everything without the search, right? The search functionality would be in a separate story. So, questions. Let's talk about this.
Yeah, just one question. Currently, like what the GitHub commit count does is like it just shows commit counts for those users that have like those users who have a GitHub username in their profile, and since many of these users don't have their GitHub usernames, so a lot of the contributions are not added up. So, like if we try to sum up all the commit counts for a particular project, a lot of them will be missing, right?
Okay, but
So
can't we just make a call to that API and get that commit count,
yeah, so
on the
I think
project
that
level?
then there might need to be another task to fetch the total commit count for a particular project,
Yeah,
uh,
I think that's a
which could be
better.
which could be done as a part of the story,
Yeah.
uh, and or could be done as another story. So
What do you guys feel about it? Should we extract this getting the commit count to a separate story?
I will strongly vote for that.
Okay. Brian?
I
What?
Yeah.
yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
So, Rene, could you do me a favor and write that up in Pivotal Tracker?
Okay, I'll
Let's
do.
see.
So
Sorry,
what? Yes, what we just decided that this GitHub commit count on
Gotcha.
each project shouldn't be a part of this particular story, of this redesign story, but rather be added afterwards. You know, when the redesign is done, because we don't store that today in any way. What we do store is that, like Sampriti said, we store every project member's commit count. So we could, you know, in theory, just add them up together and get this number, but that could potentially be misleading because some of the project members don't have their GitHub accounts synced with the website one, and thus, you know, that would lead that their commits would never be counted, and that would be a little misleading. So it's better for us to get the commit count from GitHub API on that particular project instead of doing you know, all these calculations. That, you know, it's way too complicated.
Okay.
So yes, so Paul's got Renee. I'm sorry, Renee is gonna write that up as a separate story, and what we are facing.
Oh,
you know,
I thought you would ask me to write it up. I made a pivotal tracker record.
Oh, okay.
Here's
Well,
the-
if you already did that, perhaps you guys could collaborate on it and do it together because they're, yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Anyway, so what we are facing now is just a redesign story. Okay. Any questions about the design itself?
Which number is the story?
Well, it's the
Projects index page redesign. Okay.
yeah, that's the one. Yeah. Yes, and the story has a yes.
So does that just cover converting it into 3 columns, and I assume we're getting rid of the nav bar?
Yes, we're getting rid of the nav bar.
Okay. Cool.
Well, not the nav bar, the sidebar.
Oh yeah, the sidebar. Sorry.
And we're not displaying all, you know, all the information that we're displaying right now. We spoke about this, me and Christopher, you know, that on this index page, perhaps you don't need to know how many documents there is there, you know, underneath and stuff like that.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
is something you can get to know later. There is also, I'm sorry, I didn't show it to you. I'm sorry about that. There is this idea about, you know, prioritizing certain projects, you know. So this is just another version, the one I'm showing you on the screen right now. This is another version of this landing page where we are featuring a project and displaying it, you know, with this large image and some more text, and then the rest of the projects are displayed in this grid system. I don't know which one you guys would prefer.
I think like let's the grid system be there for now, like just one single bar, like one single tab with 4 projects,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean no, there shouldn't be any tab system. Just like explore 126 projects, and then the grid of projects, and then later on a featured projects can be introduced, and
Okay.
the your projects tab can also be done. Because
Okay.
like
Fair enough. I feel the same way actually. You know, I didn't want to influence the discussion, but this is what I mean. This first page here, this is what I prefer actually. And I would also say that we would omit this your projects feature, but rather just you know, show all projects, and we can have a separate story for once a user has logged in. If there's, you know, if there's a need to show just the project he belongs to, we could add that later.
Yep, I agree. Makes sense.
Cool. So restrict. Yeah, only show no tab for users within current column users projects. Okay. And and no feature project. Okay. Anything else? All right. Can we go and vote on this now?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. So you guys know the drill. Let's type in the value 1, 2, or 3, and on my count of 3, we press enter. 1, 2, 3, go. Okay. Now we're kind of evenly split between 2 and 3s. So. No?
A bit more than evenly split. I think 2 is more prominent.
Really? Because I can count.
No.
We're evenly split.
We're evenly
split.
split.
Never mind. Sorry.
No problem. Yes. So, who wants to be an advocate for 3?
I'll be an advocate for 3. I think that this story is larger than the last one. We just graded as 2. Therefore, it must be 3.
Okay. Fair enough. Easy explanation. Anybody else?
Yeah, I agree. It's going to be bigger, and of course, layouts are a bit harder to deal with. And also, you need to get rid of the old. Did I still have JavaScript? I can't remember. There's some JavaScript related to the sidebar, I think. You need to get rid of that. And if it was me, I know where it is. If it was somebody else, they'd have to trudge through JavaScript and find where it is.
Yes.
So I'm taking that into consideration as well.
True. Yes, we wouldn't like to have any dead code in the application. Absolutely. All right, René, you said 2.
Concerning the cleanup thing, which actually convinced me, I'm switching to 3.
Okay, I'm willing to switch to 3 as well. The reason I was leaning, toward a 3, but I chose 2 because usually when we do just design issues, I don't feel this is so hard, and usually, there's not so many tests that needs to be written and stuff. So that's why I went for 2.
Same here. Like it's just a UI story, which is why I went for 2. Not the 3.
Yeah. We have most of the functionalities in place already. It's not much fancy stuff here. But okay, the cleaning argument kind convince me to go with a 3. So are you willing to go to a 3 as well?
I'm not willing, but I guess 3 will be okay.
Don't underestimate legacy code.
Yes, and the legacy aspect is very important. Okay, let's go with a 3, Sampriti. If you don't object too loudly. Okay, thanks. So there we go. And yes, so using a search functionality to this project index page once it is redesigned and everything. And I'm envisioning some sort of jQuery, just setting up visible and I mean something similar to the search we have on users index page right now.
Yeah, very simple.
Very simple, basically.
I'm actually wondering, because I don't think we have enough projects to fill up a whole page, maybe. Do you think that's needed? You can almost see everything. Well, it depends how it turns out, but I feel that you can almost see everything in one screen, maybe.
Tall.
No,
well, we have 12 here, and we have 17 projects right now.
Okay.
I think we have.
Are we just searching by project name, or are we searching by tags or other types of things too?
But still, it's like 1.5 page. It's easier to scroll than to type something in.
Yeah, true.
Yes.
I think at this current situation it isn't required, but at a later stage when we have more projects it might be required.
I agree, but
this story can be kept in the ice box, I guess. Not really.
Yeah.
Doesn't really important.
For members, I agree. Like there's 484 to look through. You want to filter that. but if we only have 17, you might as well just scroll down.
Yeah, we might. Let's you guys. We can move this to the icebox.
Yeah, we could bring something else in. The commit count looks important.
I'm just gonna say no search on the previous story. So I just make sure that Christopher is aware of that. Yes, and oh, sorry. Where am I? Yes, so let's move this to Icebox and move this in here and get commit count from GitHub API to particular projects. Yes. Anybody care to write up a user story for this?
Alright, I'll do that.
Cool. Yeah, so show on projects index with a nice icon. That's not labels. What are you doing, Thomas? How I made a fool of myself, didn't I?
I hear that's good for the character.
Ah, so do I. And I use it all the time.
Don't worry, we're not paying attention.
Cool. Yes, show on project index with a nice cat icon. See next index. All right. Yes. So let's wait for the user story to be finished. Yes. I was just about to say something. Remind me to, Brian, we have to talk about the events epic before we finish this. Sure. Yes.
All right.
Why is it not epic? Okay, as a visitor to the site so I can see the GitHub activity for a project, I would like to see a GitHub commit count for every project. Yes. So, can we vote on this or do we need to clarify this further?
I would say let's vote on this. It's a pretty simple story.
Is everybody ready to vote?
I'm ready to vote.
Well, I have a question about it. So how do we plan to deal with the GitHub commit count? Are we going to do it the same way as users, where we store a cached copy somewhere, or are we just going to hit the API in real time?
I was thinking of creating another field in the projects table and just storing the total GitHub commit count for a particular project. That's how I plan on doing this.
Okay, fair enough.
We don't want to. I don't think we want to hit, APIs in live manner. We have to rethink the pivotal tracker API.
Right.
Call that we do on the project show. Yes.
I think it's fine as long as it's just on the show page. When it comes to the index page, I think it's better to keep a cached copy somewhere.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Any other questions?
No.
So, yes. let's vote. Oh, thanks, Sabrina. 1 for easy, 2 for medium, 3 for hard. Okay. 1, 2, 3, go. Okay. So we don't do floats here. So pretty. So I'm gonna interpret you as a 2.
Yep.
Okay. Unless you object.
I think Rene is going for a 1.
Oh, he is.
Yep. Rene is doing a 1.
No, 1. Yeah, 1.52i. That's actually a 1. Yes. Rene, are you sure?
Oh, it doesn't round off? I didn't know that.
Okay.
Okay, now
That's a 2. All right.
Yeah, that's definitely...
Good point. Cool. Okay, so these stories are estimated. Wonderful. Now, we're going to talk a little bit about the events epic, and in the meantime, for if you guys want to have a look in the icebox and find a story that you would like to work on, just let us know, and you know.
I would like to work on the GitHub commit.conf story.
Okay, sure, you can do that. No problems.
Shall I click start?
If you don't have anything else to work on right now, you can definitely click start. Sure.
Yep.
Well, Sampriti, you still haven't replied to my comment on your pull request. I'm wondering if we need that sleep at all.
Which pull request?
For the GitHub commit count bug fix.
Let me have a look. I think I might have forgotten it.
Okay, no worries. Just a quick reminder.
The thing is that, okay, the events epic. I spoke to Sam about this, and you and I had a discussion last time about whether we should, only start the event instance from our application, or we should continue to allow the GitHub, not GitHub. I mean the Hangout connection app to create instances of event instance. You remember the discussion? Yeah. There's a requirement for the client that we only do it through the application. That's what.
Wow.
Yeah. Because it's too much uncertain. It's too uncertain to allow that application to talk to website 1 and create those events. And it's also a matter of how can we display something that will because we want to use event instances to display what's planned. What's ahead of time, upcoming events, and we cannot do that unless they are created, prior to, like 3 or 4 days prior to when they are scheduled.
That's different things, I think. The instance itself should be related to the Hangout. We can create the other normal event that's saying there's something going to happen in some point in the future, but that doesn't have any Hangout associated with it.
But wouldn't that mean that we have to create both 2 instances, one in the event and one in the event instance model?
Yes. And
isn't that a waste of resources, kind of?
No, they are 2 different things.
Yes, but I would also argue that one idea behind having an event instance model was also that we can take some attributes and change them. That they can be inherited from the events model from the series, like the description, for instance. But you as a future host, or host of an event, if you want to add an agenda or add some resources to this or stuff like that, you should be able to do that prior in time.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's
yeah.
And also, we spoke about this because we had those issues before, and this issue is reoccurring, that the event Hangout application isn't creating that instance, because it actually fails, and so that's why when I spoke to Sam about this, he said that it shouldn't be done in that particular way. But perhaps it's better if we talk to him together about this,
I
in
think
client meetings.
It's better if we do talk to him together. Yeah, because I have some concerns about the other way of implementing it. Because I think we still have to eventually go back and I mean I told you this before. It's still a manual process having to update everything.
All right. Okay. The frustrating part of in all this that we're standing still. We don't know where to go from now. And if you look at but let's leave that discussion. Yes, we're gonna talk to Sam together.
Okay.
No
Yeah.
problem. What's frustrating? We're gonna have a client meeting this Thursday. Well, not actually no, because we had a client meeting last Thursday. Oh, so it's bi-weekly now, so it's yet another week
Right.
before we can talk to him.
Okay. So next week, fine.
Yes.
Anyway, we have enough stories in there for the time being. We can
Yeah.
push this event stuff.
Yeah. And if you have a look at on Code Climate, the event events model just got from A to D in recent time.
Okay.
So because there's been we did merge some refactorings that has been made, and that actually just made the whole thing even more complex,
Yeah.
And also I was going over some of the code we are having. And the Hangouts controller also went from A to B. What is now called the event instance controller, but never mind. We have some code that is dead. It just hangs around and not being used anymore.
Okay.
And that's also a result of the refactorings that has been done mostly to the user interface of these things. So we need to deal with that as well.
Right. Okay.
And we still have this model that is, called hookups that we don't use for anything.
Okay. I'd say let's hold off on touching anything about the events until we can decide what we want to finally do with it. Hopefully, within in the next client meeting.
Yeah. Okay. All right. But what I want to, just say to the dev team, if you guys feel that the events epic is something that you could contribute to and work on, feel free to have a look at this code, and you can talk to me or Brian about this. This is quite complicated because there have been so many people involved in this, and
I
yes.
would like to say just one thing. It seems like previously, as we discussed, we had talked about just rewriting the whole events thing. And then it seems like trying to rework on the existing code made it even more complex, as you can see with the Hangouts and the event refactoring that John's been doing. It seems like it's making the whole thing even more complex. So, I think that I would always think about a rewrite, even though that might take a lot of time, but that might make everything much more simple.
That will make things a bit more simple, but it depends on our client in this case. He might not want to lose any of the information, so we will need to think about migrating the data from the old format to the new one. And then it might just be more complicated having to have that process.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it depends on what Sam says again.
Yeah. So let's talk about this. I'm going to try to set up an extra client meeting just to talk about this events thing with you.
Okay.
And I'll let you know, of course, ahead of time, so we can synchronize our schedules. But just as a comment from me on this whole thing, this is kind of what happens when we want to do too much, because a lot of this stuff that has been done in this events epic is a little bit experimental, and we are also getting ahead of ourselves, that trying to implement features that have not yet been requested by the client, or preparing the code base for when a feature should become requested, but and that's what makes the whole thing very complex right now. And doing the least amount of work just to make code work and software work is what we should do. And there's a lot of stuff here that are not working. They are just beginning of certain features that we don't need at all, and that makes this way too hard to understand, and making this code really really hard to follow and hard to read. So my message to everybody is in your own stories, just keep it as simple as possible. It's always the best thing to do, I believe. Okay, any other questions? Has somebody found something, some stories that you would like us to vote on, or that they would like to claim ownership of and start working on? Some pretty wanted to take this GitHub commit count. Amy, do you have anything that you see that you would like to get your hands dirty with?
Yeah, there's a UI story. Where is this? There's a UI story that it's not completely written, but it looks like here we go. It's a chore. Fix UI mistakes bloopers.
Yeah, that's.
So I'll take this.
Well, it's actually it's a set of tasks that we need to break out. I wrote this up once, and we kind of agreed in a meeting that we split this up in separate chores, bugs or features. So, for instance, I see I haven't updated this. Hide round banners from tablet and smartphone is already done. So let me update that.
Okay.
Fix or custom. Yes, there are some. What is this? Yeah, there you go. Yes, for instance, there's this retrieve password user interface. I think you did that, Sampriti, didn't you?
Yeah, I did that.
Yeah. Let's see. Let me just show you something. If you log in, we are using Bootstrap, form elements, and on this forget your password, we are breaking from large elements to normal size elements. So this is a small chore just to update this so it follows the rest of the user interface. You see, there's a slight difference in the size of the button and the size of the input fields on this screen.
Okay, so it's what I'm hearing you say is that the story needs to be groomed further and isn't ready to be picked up.
Well, it's not the story itself, but what we can do is we can split this out in small other chores, basically, in separate chores.
What about the story the chore actually live running Hangouts need to be linked to from somewhere?
Yes, that touches on the events epic, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's on. I think that's on the events epic.
Yeah.
We might want to hold off on the events epic for a while until we decide what we're gonna do with it.
Yes.
So should this be in that particular sprint, or should it be moved out?
Should be moved out. Where is it?
It is under 14th of October. It's the second chore.
Oh yeah, in the backlog?
Under current backlog? Yeah. Yes. In the backlog under 14 October, the upcoming sprint.
Oh yeah, I see it.
Okay, yeah, because Rene accidentally pushed start on it. Yes, I'm just gonna move it out to Icebox. Well, actually, no. The client moved and scheduled this story after web interface for mailer. So this is actually prioritized by Sam.
Live running needs to be linked from somewhere.
As far as I understand, this is just a front end thing, putting a button somewhere or a link somewhere.
I'm not sure.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Is it? Is it really? No, I don't think the story is quite clear on what he wants to do.
Okay. So I have a story in progress, and I'm having a conversation with Simpriti, the update welcome email. So why don't I not pick up a story and continue my conversation with him?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Sure. You just go ahead and work on that.
Okay.
Absolutely. Okay. What else is there to discuss, guys?
I have a question on my story. So my story is like just backend, right? So I don't have to make any front-end updates. Just add a field to the backend which can be used during the project page redesign, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or does it include something else
You,
as well?
I think you can just add an extra item in the show page that shows the GitHub commitment counts, maybe.
Okay.
That should be good enough for, say, the client to validate that your story is done.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay. Cool. Also, let's. I spoke to you about this, Sampriti, and I think you're on this. We have this dependencies thing.
Yeah. I kind of finished that up. Yes. I'll get some time tomorrow and finish that up. Like I've updated the dependencies, but there are a few errors which came about after the update, which I want
Okay.
to fix. But just give me until tomorrow, and I
Sure.
should.
There's no rush. I just wanted to bring this up, and also.
What's that? Sorry.
Well, we have a lot of dependencies that are out of date. Gymnasium is complaining that we have well, not a lot, but some are needs to be updated, and so Sampriti was going over that.
Okay.
New releases of gems.
Yeah. Okay. As long as I'll trust our test coverage.
Yes. Let's hope that doesn't break anything. I had a question about our gem file. We have this coffee rails gem. Again, do we need to keep this?
No, if we don't have any coffee script, let's just get rid of it.
Sampriti, you want to take care of that as well?
Yeah, but I mean, do we want to discourage development in CoffeeScript then?
We should keep it consistent. We've been writing JavaScript. We should write everything in JavaScript then.
Okay. All right. I'll have to make sure that if there are no other dependencies with coffee, then I'll remove it.
Yeah,
Okay.
just make sure. If there are, then let us know.
Okay. I have another question then to people. We have a situation. I was going over coveralls and our test coverage, and I remember there was this story about voting on articles recently, I think, and we had this. Yes. We had this discussion, I think. I don't know if it was in that context or not, whether we should test certain gems. And if you go to this articles controller, I see that the test coverages are 65%, and the methods about upvote, downvote, and cancel vote are not covered by tests. Is there any reason for that?
No idea.
No idea. Should we? Yeah, we should test those. At least that the controller is doing the right thing.
Do you remember this pull request? Right?
Long ago, I forgot who did it.
Okay. Well, it doesn't really matter now. It's done is done. But should we like write a chore or it's more of a chore, right, to cover this in tests?
Yep.
Yes. Could somebody help me with that? And also we have some other, we have registration helper and documents helper, and this null user business that is also with a fairly low test coverage.
There is one thing, like Brandy, remember, like I had submitted a pretty large pull request once, about 100 commits or so. Like a lot of these test coverage things were covered in that, and so like I forgot to. I mean, some of these items will be fixed from that pull request, like, but the things need to be extracted from there, so it will take some time, but it is possible. So.
Okay. Is this test, Thomas? Is this test coverage statistics being pulled from each individual pull request, or the latest developed?
But this is a pull request actually, but it is a fairly new one, So
okay.
So that's why I'm using this. Yes. Well, we can have a look at the branch itself. I think branch master, branch develop. Oh no, I'm jumping to. Okay, how can I? Okay. Well, it's hard for me to see each individual file for some reason. I don't. They changed their. Did they change the interface? I remember this looking slightly different before I left. Any of you guys know how to watch? See this? I remember I could pull out a view where I could see, I could order them by the lowest coverage, for instance, all the files. But it's okay. Well, anyway, we can have a look at this later. But there is some files that needs to be updated. We don't have to write up those chores now, but I can sit down and do it after the meeting or tomorrow, if it's okay with you guys.
Sure, that's perfectly fine.
All right. Any other business, guys?
Not for me.
Okay.
I was just thinking how Amy said she had to go, and to another meeting, and you see a lot of or a fair number of people that are at their regular jobs, with some downtime trying to participate. I wonder if we couldn't supply those companies with, basically a tax write-off that would be better tracked.
Absolutely.
You might get some hot developers that way. Not that it's we need it anymore, but.
I vote for that. Could you write that up as a story, and we can implement that in something. Yes, absolutely. They should also donate money to us and get a nice tax.
I think it would just happen, yeah, because people, if once the people of a company, got involved, then there's a much better chance that they would talk to their coworkers, and they may not be allowed to do it, but absolutely.
I hear you, brother. Okay, so that's a very good suggestion. Thank you. Absolutely. Any other business? No other business. No. Okay. Well, thank you very much for this meeting. I guess we have our work cut out for us for the next upcoming week, and I hope to see you in some pair programming session soon. Do you want to stick around and have a look at some pull requests, Brian, or do you want to do it all by your lonesome?
I can't stick around much longer, actually. So I'll be taking my leave here. Maybe, I'm not sure if I'll look at any more tonight. I might look at them tomorrow. Yeah, unless there's anything that you want me to prioritize.
No, I'm cool. Any questions to Brian, guys? No, remember to join that Agile Ventures community project, the new high-level.
Join us in the Slack channel?
No, on website 1.
Oh, right. Okay.
I took the liberty and moved some of the documents that used to be stored under website 1 that had to do with a relatively high-level, Agile Venture, as a community development. I think Yaro had this business plan, and I think Viv created this, big data strategy and stuff. So I moved that over to that project. I think that's a better place for it to be stored, And so if you have any ideas what we should discuss, and there's a meeting tomorrow. It's a follow-up meeting on the Friday's retrospective.
Not sure if I can make it tomorrow. What time is it?
I think it's 6:15 p.m. UTC. Yep.
Might be tough, but I'll see what I can do.
All right. Cool beans, guys.
Right.
Rene, is this pull request coming in today?
I don't know. I think I need some more time because I ran into troubles because of actually rebasing. This is really fun because I totally hate rebasing on public repositories, and now this hit me. I don't know exactly why, because I just had I think one single commit of Sasha, which got merged into my repository, and which is obviously not anymore available in development branch. And so I'll see what happens. I figured this out.
Okay, just roll back everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, and let's not rebase anything. I don't do that.
Yeah, we see.
Yeah, I mean, Brian likes to squash his commits and stuff, but I don't give a shit.
No, I don't mind.
I don't mind the history being. I mean, this is an open source project. There's a lot of. It's a learning thing. Even if people are.
No. I come on. I didn't force anybody to do merge or rebase.
I know you did.
I just say merge, rebase, whatever makes you feel better.
No, but I think I started to post some comments into the website 1 channel on the Slack, and I think really if this should be really discussed more deeply. If we push to public repositories, then I think you can't rebase it. It's not fair, because anybody who pulls it gets into trouble.
Mm-hmm.
There is this best practice, Brian. That says don't rebase if you work on public, open source, and yeah.
I mean, it's not necessary. Like if you fetch and then you rebase with that fetch head, then that shouldn't be a problem. Like if you instead of pulling, if you instead of doing a pull, if you fetch, then if you rebase, then it shouldn't be a problem. But then that is more complex, so people don't do that.
But the best, people are saying that we shouldn't. The best practice recommendations, don't do that. So that could, consequently mean the end of this discussion even for us, that what we should or shouldn't be doing. Or we could actually, have a recommendation not to rebase, because that could potentially lead to trouble for people.
Well, actually, I don't quite understand why people are having so much trouble with rebase. What is the issue? Because rebase shouldn't be causing that much issues.
Maybe people do it backwards.
Yeah,
Maybe.
mostly.
I'm just
That's
wondering,
how.
like, what sort of issues are people running into? I'm just curious.
So Rene, what happened to you now, for instance?
I hadn't enough time to poke around in it, but this is what I'm actually will do now. And afterwards, perhaps I can tell more what was the problem of or if this is just because I'm still sick and dizzy.
Okay. Well, let's table this
Okay,
discussion.
we'll just leave it at that.
Yeah. And we can come back to this some other time, as we have
Yeah,
done
absolutely.
so many times already. Okay. Well, it's 1 hour and 45 minutes. Not so bad today. It's actually manageable. So good night, unless there's
Alright,
anything
good
else.
night. No.
Okay. Live long and prosper, guys. Take it easy.
Alright. You
So
too.
long.
See
Bye
ya.
bye.